I'm Jennifer Mattson. I'm the rector of St. Thomas Episcopal Church in Lancaster. I also serve as the co-chair of the Saving Lives by Ending Gun Violence Ministry of the Episcopal Diocese of Central Pennsylvania with Bishop Audrey Scanlon.
Hi, and I'm the Reverend Martha Harris. I serve as priest in charge at St. Luke Episcopal Church in Mount Joy and St. Paul Episcopal Church in Columbia. And I've had the honor of working with Reverend Mattson and Bishop Scanlon since the inception of the Saving Lives by Ending Gun Violence Task Force, which really evolved out of a concern that all of us feel as clergy. We can't sit idly by or just offer prayers as mass shootings continue to be a daily phenomenon in our country.
Yeah, this task force specifically was a response to the shooting in Uvalde. A number of us, we were at clergy conference that year when that happened, and we were just so deeply impacted as all of us were, and felt like we needed to do something more than the usual thoughts and prayers. And of course, prayer does have an important role to play, and that's part of the ministry of this group. We work on offering liturgical resources, and we have a prayer group that is very faithful and active in praying on a daily basis the names of those who have been lost to gun violence, of congregations who have been impacted by gun violence, of lifting up current events, because you're so right to say that it seems like it's almost every day. Well, it is every day that we have. It is every day that we have mass shootings. But one of the most important facets of this ministry is our advocacy effort. And Martha, you've been extraordinary in building not only a movement within our diocese, but really building that movement out into something interfaith and across the state.
Well, thank you, Jen. It's really, I think it's a God moment. I think God is speaking to all of us that the crime and the sin of mass shootings and carnage has to end. It's led to a movement called With One Voice, where different faith leaders of all different faith traditions, because we all believe that all life is sacred, and that the right to bear arms does not come with an unlimited right to kill anyone you choose to kill. So assault weapons should be banned. We signed joint letters led by the bishop, and Bishop Scanlon has been a real leader in this. But just think where we'd be as a nation if we didn't have this stigma of being the only civilized country in the world that kills its own.
And that's just it. I think sometimes we feel like, well, what could we possibly do? And we can do common sense measures. This is not about taking guns away from responsible gun owners. This is about respecting the dignity of every human being and the right to life.
You know, how do we create a culture that's safe so that children can go to school knowing they're going to come home at the end of the day? Parents can send their children to school knowing that they're going to come home at the end of the day.
Oh my goodness.
Teachers can teach without concern about armed resource officers outside every door to prevent, someone coming in with a gun. We've had 2 big advocacy days on Capitol Hill that brought 150 faith leaders of all different traditions together, because as individuals, we feel powerless. How can we change? How do we enact more common sense laws? Teenage suicides are up ever since the pandemic. It's just awful. Awful, awful, awful. And there's no community that's spared. Our continued action will be to continue to mobilize and speak with one voice across the state, across all different faith traditions. We invite others to join us. There's a page on the diocesan website, Saving Lives, that people can go to. We're looking to organize a documentary showing on the 6th anniversary of the worst religious terrorism in Pennsylvania, when the synagogues at the Tree of Life congregations were decimated in a mass shooting. That was October 27th, so it's the 6th anniversary. I had the opportunity to see that film at the Ware Center here in Lancaster, and I was so moved by it. So it's a very well done documentary.
So it'll be hosted at our congregation, St. Thomas. It's also going to be at Prince of Peace in Gettysburg and St. Andrews in Lewisburg. find out more information by visiting the diocesan website or the Lancaster Convocation website. We'll be sharing that information as well, our Facebook page. I think it's so important to not only commemorate that anniversary, but to come together as people of faith. Our kids are growing up with generational trauma that is being inflicted upon them because we are not doing our part to advocate on their behalf.
That's right.
And the other thing is that these are not just abstract statistics, these are lives. These are real people whose lives have been lost and they didn't have to be.
That's right.
We can do more. We need to do more.
How do we create a safer environment in schools and houses of worship in our communities? What's important also is for people not to feel powerless. We elect our state representatives.
Right.
They are there to represent our views.
Right.
So if we care about ending gun violence, they need to know that. And they need to know that there are holes and ways that Pennsylvania's laws can be strengthened to make it more difficult for irresponsible people to get access to weapons. We worship a God of nonviolence, but we don't practice that as people here in this time and space. We preach it from the pulpit. Now we're taking that advocacy to the streets.